Like I say, it has that feel of Revenge and Sightseers, and obviously there's Ben Wheatley connections as well. So I'd be interested to see where he goes from here. Hello everyone, welcome back to Film Area on YouTube. Raj Rudolph is here for Boys on Film. If you're into music and movies, by the way, this is the channel for you. Movie reviews, TV show unpacking videos, and interviews with the best music artists. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Today we're talking about a British black comedy that we caught at South by Southwest. Raj, this seems like weeks ago. It was only just a couple of weeks ago, but we've only just finally got round to actually unpacking our thoughts for all of these films that we've seen. We've seen so many, haven't we? We really packed them in this year. I mean, you saw more than I did. You saw about 40, I think, didn't you? 40 movies?
Oh, I think the last count is about 50 now.
Showing off.
And that's not even counting the shorts. But yeah, I feel pretty zonked out on movies. It's like this year between all the online film festivals, South by and BFI. Oof, I'm a little movie zonked, but in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it, but it is a lot to take on, because especially if you've got like two festivals at the same time. There was actually another festival, I can't remember what that was. Was it the one that was in Wales? I can't remember, but anyway, I thought, no, we can't do with that. We can't do another festival. We've got two is quite enough. But yeah, it's been good fun, but it has been quite exhausting mentally exhausting as well, because you're having to think about stuff, especially if you're doing reviews. But that's why we're here, because we're doing it. We're sharing our thoughts on stuff maybe that you haven't seen, or maybe you're about to see, because this I'm guessing is a few months off from the release date in the UK.
And we've actually interviewed the director too, so very excited to have you guys see that little chat. Yeah,
he was a really nice guy, Nick Gillespie. He's worked a lot with somebody else who I admire in movies, who's Ben Wheatley. He directed the film called Kill List, which is one of my favourite horrors. So brilliant. If you like that kind of folk horror feel. Quite violent, quite aggressive. But anyway, this is something a bit lighter, although it has actually got horror elements. It's Paul Doods' Deadly Lunch Break. A British black comedy, as I say, director Nick Gillespie. He's also co-written it as well with Brooke Driver and Matthew Wright, and it stars Tom Meaton as Paul Dood, who I suppose is he's a charity shop worker, isn't he? He falls down on his luck. He's trying to get famous. He wants to be a big star, and he's got a big social following, social media following.
Yeah, this movie, it's kind of cute in the way that it's kind of just a big disaster waiting to happen. The movie's kind of a big disaster in terms of plot, but it was quite enjoyable to watch it all unfold the way it unfolded.
I mean, it's a great cast. I mean, if you like stuff like Revenge and Sightseers, it's that kind of comedy, although probably not as dark tinged as some of those films. But obviously it's the same team. We've got an amazing cast. Johnny Vegas, who plays a proprietor of a Japanese restaurant, which isn't doing very well. Chris Marshall and Alice Lowe, they play a priest and the assistant. Alice is the assistant. Steve Oram as well, is a train guard who causes a lot of problems for this guy who is the protagonist, who is obviously played by Tom Meaton. He lives at home with his mum. I read some reviews that were saying that it kind of pokes fun at his mental state, but I didn't get that at all, because I actually quite liked the character, because you're not meant to, because obviously he goes on a bit of a rampage, but I felt sympathy for him, empathy, I should say.
Yeah, I think the bit when he gets to the train station with his mother in tow with the in her wheelchair, I really started to feel sorry for him, and I actually wanted to murder the train guy, the train attendant, station attendant as well. So I feel for Paul Dood. He was having a real bad day.
He really was. Yeah, I would probably say, I mean, this film feels a bit like Falling Down meets Nighty Night. It's that kind of story, isn't it, where someone is pushed to the limits because he's having so much bad luck. But yeah, there are 5 people that cause a lot of problems for him, and one by one he kind of takes his revenge on these people and the stuff that they've done to him, making him have a bit of a bad week because he's trying to get to these auditions. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It could have been darker for me, but it was quite playful because it's not really a horror. I mean, when we spoke to Nick the director, he wouldn't say it was a horror. I suppose it's a dark comedy, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty black comedy. If anything, dark black. It's a pretty grim comedy, and it's that sort of brand of comedy that I think British talent does quite well. You know, a little bit tongue in cheek, not too overly aesthetic, kind of gritty. But yeah, it's good fun if you're up for like a film you don't really have to think too much about.
Yeah, very tongue in cheek. I mean, it kind of takes on those themes of, you know, talent competitions, live streaming, and bullying as well, online bullying, but more physical bullying, because, you know, these people that get in his way on the way to this talent competition, you know. I suppose it does address that, but it doesn't really go too much in depth with those problems. It's more a tongue-in-cheek approach to it, I think. But I loved his nerdiness, though. The cringe of seeing him, you know, rehearsing and performing to Together in Electric Dreams, the Giorgio Moroder and Phil Oakey track, was just brilliant. And he's got those stars on his face as well. I mean, it's so over the top. It's so cringe.
See, I have to really be in the mood for these type of movies. So I guess for me, when I watched it, I wasn't in the mood for it. But, you know, on a late Sunday night where, you know, I just want to forget about everything for a while, I would definitely put on a Paul Dude and his Deadly Day, or such a long title, just for a bit of fun and a little bit of nonsensical enjoyment.
It's funny because I didn't actually read too much into his name at first, but then when I actually started the movie, I could understand why he was called that. Obviously, it's different spelling, but I didn't actually think of that before I started watching it. But it's the director's second feature as well, because I think he directed a horror film before this, which was called what was that called? Tank 432, which I haven't seen, but I'm quite keen to see it because I like I say, it has that feel of Prevenge and Sightseers, and obviously there's Ben Wheatley connections as well. So I'd be interested to see where he goes from here as a director.
Me too. Will be one to watch, I think.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 3 stars. I'm
going to give it a 3 because you did enjoy it probably more than I did. But for what it is, I can appreciate it. So yeah, it's a 3 from me.
Yeah, I thought it was playful enough to be enjoyed, but dark enough to take the frothy edge of that off. I mean, probably the sort of thing that you would question why you're laughing at, because you're not meant to laugh, but because it was the way it was done, it was so ridiculous. I think it was okay to laugh at that stuff.
Oh, totally. But no need to get too deep in your thoughts about it.
Exactly. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's Paul Doods' Deadly Lunch Break. Let us know if you're keen to see it, and leave a comment below, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one.